Sebastian, hello Seb, and we would like to welcome Allenton School. Hi Elementary School, I hope you're doing well. Hi kids, don't forget we're live and interactive, so send through your questions with your teacher, and then when we're done with you all at your school session in about 45 minutes, everyone else, you can send through your questions, hashtag Safari Live on Twitter or on YouTube chat. I've got a few more exciting things to talk about. The first, I'm looking for Thandi. I haven't seen Thandi in the cub for a while, and Steve managed to find her with that wonderful kill yesterday afternoon, and then this morning that she was seen again. So kids, Thandi is a female leopard who we see quite often here, and she's got a teeny tiny little cub, so I'm really excited to hopefully get her. And then don't forget, on the 4th of February at 10 o'clock Eastern time in the United States, Safari Live is going to be live, and not only are we going to be live on Nat Geo Wild, we're also going to be live the 4th, the 5th, the 6th, the 7th, and the 8th of February, all 10 o'clock Eastern. And whilst we're live on Nat Geo Wild, we're going to be playing Safari Bingo. It's super exciting. Now, you can find out all about Safari Bingo if you go to natgeo.com/Safari Live, and you'll see all the rules there. And the winner of Safari Bingo is going to win a trip for two to Africa to go on safari. Super exciting. Okay, so that all being said, kiddos, leopards are amazing. They're one of my favorite creatures. Excuse the back of my head as I look around. You can see that the vehicles were driving here, and Scott was saying to me, this was the tree where the kill was, that Seb was also here, this big beautiful marula tree, and Scott was telling me that she was down underneath. So I am looking down underneath, and I'm just having a little look-see here. We're just gonna scan around, and then I'm going to drive around a little bit and see if we can see her. Now, leopards are masters. Oops, sorry about that. Leopards, oh, come on, Wendy. Oh, Wendy. Wendy's not well today. She's having problems. Wendy, I love you. Wendy's the name of my car. All right, Wendy's having a little bit of a moment, but that's okay. We'll sort her out just now. I think let's go over to my friend Tristan, who's back from leave. He was out this morning on walk, and now he's out on Rusty, and he wants to say hello.
Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to our afternoon safari. It's hopefully going to be a very glorious one with beautiful blue sky and a few clouds around to make it not so hot. As Noel mentioned, my name is Tristan, and on camera today I've got VM, the wildebeest, and well, it's hopefully, like I say, going to be a good one. We've already found tracks for a lion, which is exceptionally exciting, so we're going to try and follow those and to try and see if we can find them. It's also a very warm welcome to Allenton that is joining us for our school drive this afternoon. Hopefully you will have a lot of fun, and remember to ask lots of questions for you to give them to your teacher, and she'll send them through to all of us. For the rest of our viewers, we'll take your questions a little bit later when the school drive is done. Right, now let's carry on and see if we can find where this lion crossed. The last track I had was on my left hand side, so coming up from that area there was a track for what looks like a male lion. So it's touch and go as to whether this male lion will still be around. The male lions like to walk a long way, and so sometimes it can be quite difficult to find them. They tend to go sometimes very far, and that makes it hard to track. But we're going to look. We didn't find these tracks this morning, so I'm not sure if they're from during the day or if they were from last night. If they were from last night, then I think we're going to have a tough time to find this lion. But if they are from during the day today, maybe because it's gotten a little hotter, this morning was cold and rainy, now it's got a little warmer, maybe he's found himself a nice place to lie down and he's going to have a bit of a rest, and we'll be able to find him. So that's the plan at this stage. Hopefully it will all work out and we'll be able to find a beautiful male lion to show all of you. They are incredibly pretty, the male lions. Now I've just got to check here because there are tracks on the road, but these look like tracks for a hyena that is here, which I'll show you shortly. I'm just going to try and find a nice one that VM can show you on the camera, because sometimes tracks are quite difficult to see. So let's see, VM, what about that one over there? It's going to be a little tough, but I will help you with it. Hold on. So I'm going to get out of the car quickly to show you this track and show you exactly what we're talking about. Now over here, no, I need a branch to show all of you. So over here we have the track, and I'm going to also just move to get my shadow out of it so that you can see it better. But effectively what we have is we've got toes at the front, so there's 1, 2, 4 toes, and then the back pad here. Now this would be from a hyena because the toes are very squashed together and they make like little banana shapes, and it's very easy with that. The cats, when they sip, their toes are a little bit separated, so they have a thing where there's a gap between the toes and there's no little bananas. Also, there's little claws on this that are there as well, so that's how we know. And at the back of the pad are 2 lobes and not 3. So hyena track, which is not what we're looking for right now. We're still trying to find our male lion track, so hopefully we'll be able to find that in amongst all of these tracks as well. Now I need to plug myself in, otherwise Nikki in final control is going to shout at me. Right, so let's carry on and see. Maybe we'll get lucky. Like I say, the last track was there, but it hasn't come out from what I can see, which is good news. It means maybe this lion is laid down, so we're gonna have to keep our eyes open. And that's the thing about safari, is that you've always got to kind of open your eyes and try and see what's lying under the bush and try and see where he might be having a nice nap, because when it's hot like this, the lions like to get in under the trees and sleep. Now I believe that you're all learning about predators and prey, and well, that's a very interesting thing to learn about. So it'll be really nice if we can find this lion, because that will certainly be able to tie in with what you're learning about, and we can discuss all the things that lions like to eat and what they like to go after, and how the prey is able to deal with living where lions are, because where there's lions is always very difficult for animals. They've got to always be aware of what's going on. So hopefully we'll find some of the prey animals and the predators this afternoon, so we can discuss all of those kind of things. Right, now I was saying hopefully we'll find a predator, and it seems, well, Noelle is very lucky, and she's managed to find my most favorite predator and the most beautiful, in my opinion.
Tristan, I have indeed found your favorite predator. Everyone, Tristan's favorite predator is a leopard, and this particular cat, Thandi, I think is one of his favorites. I don't know if it's the favorite, but definitely one of his favorites. So all leopards get names eventually, not because they're pets and not because we can touch them. They're not domesticated. They're just very special animals, and they have territories that are very particular, and they live in habitats that are sometimes very hard to find them. So you can see Thandi's underneath this dead tree, and we actually drove quite close to her before we could see her because of the angle that the tree was at and the way that the shadow was, and she was lying flat. Her cub is here as well, but her cub has just moved off a little ways. They're very full, and because they're very full, they're very hot. So you can see she's panting. If you have cats or dogs at home, your cats or dogs will do the same thing, because they don't sweat like we do. So to be able to cool down, they have to go and pant all of it out. I know, Tandi, I'm sorry, and it's putting her in a bad mood as well. You saw that little curl of her lip there. If she was really upset with us, she would have told us to go away. Right now, she's just going, I'm hot, I'm tired, Noelle, you're talking, my cubs moved off, I can't eat anymore, I want it to cool down. Ugh. She's having a mom moment. So kiddos, don't forget, you can ask us questions, and we love questions, any kind of questions. It can be questions about this leopard. It can be questions about the habitats that leopards are in. It can be questions about how does the leopard catch its prey, or it could be questions about what myself and Tristan do. And everyone from the Mara, that's in Kenya, which is north and east from us, about 1,600 miles, they'll be joining us hopefully again soon once that big storm passes. Whenever there's a big lightning storm, we have to shut down all of our equipment so that we don't get struck by lightning. It's very different from a normal game drive vehicle. And what's interesting about this for us is that with our game drive vehicles, like what we're doing now, I don't have guests like you would see with other lodges. I have all of you. So I've got Seb with his camera, and then you're seeing everything that we're seeing because of the amazing technology that has developed over the years and using the internet, and it's pretty amazing. So now this leopardess, which is a female leopard, is a good sized female leopard. Usually females are between sort of 45 and 55 kilograms, sometimes up to about 60 kilograms, which means that they top off at about 120, 130 pounds, and then can sometimes be a little bit less, about 115 pounds. Now that's the size of a decent female human, even a smaller female human. So they weigh quite a bit, and they're really amazing. You can see how well she camouflages in there. So when there's something for her to stalk, and she likes prey like impala, which is a type of antelope that's similar to your white-tailed deer, she'll hide herself, and then she'll stalk forward slowly, 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 and moving around. Now I can see the cub every now and then. From our 9 o'clock, Seb, there's a dead tree that's lying with lots of branches of Cumbritum, and the cub is jumping around amongst there. So we might be able to see it. I'll keep an eye out there. Now, another thing that Thandi does while she's busy stalking is if you look at her face, what you can see now, you see those really long, long whiskers. Those help her when she's stalking because her eyes are going to be right on the prey. And then as she's stalking, those whiskers will help feel everything around her so that she doesn't run into anything that will make noise. Alice, you're our first question of the day, and thank you so much. You've asked a really great question. Alice, you want to know why leopards have spots. So Alice, every single organism, whether it's a human or a leopard or a bee, they have to fit into their habitat, and they have to fit into the niche inside the habitat. And by doing that, they have to make sure that everything that they do makes it able for them to eat, to find a place to live, basically to survive. So a leopard they're not true spots, they're actually called rosettes, and she's got these rosettes to help camouflage herself so that she can hide amongst thick bushes or even in tall grass, and so that it's easier for her to catch her prey, and also so that she can camouflage herself against other predators. Lions and leopards don't like each other. Leopards and cheetah don't like each other. Leopard and hyena don't like each other. So she's got a very special coat to help her survive. Byron, very cool question. Byron, you want to know how long can a leopard run before their hearts explode? Now, Byron, I'm actually not worried about her heart exploding. I'm more worried about her brain overheating. So she can do 23 meters a second. So there are 3 foot in a meter. Byron, I'm sorry, I didn't do well with math at school. So you guys are gonna have to help me out with that math. So 23 times 3, and that's how many feet she can do in 1 second. And that's the amount that she can do at the top speed, which is about 90 kilometers an hour. So you're looking at about 65, 70 miles an hour, roughly. And she can't do more than that, or else her brain's gonna overheat. Now, a cheetah, who looks very similar to a leopard but has really long legs and a longer body and a longer tail and a smaller head, has a very special brain casing that allows it to do much faster. It can do about 90 miles per hour, sometimes a little bit more, a little bit less, depending. Actually, I think it's a little bit less, more like 80 miles per hour. Oh, she's coming out to the open, everyone. Look, you can see everything perfectly now. Her fat belly, she's walking right past us. She's growling a little bit as she walks past because she's just hot and bothered, and she's actually going to the kill. Those cheetahs have a special brain casing, like I was saying, that help it so that their brains don't overheat. And so the leopard stalks and then jumps on the prey, and a cheetah runs after its prey. Now, Jamie is up in the Masai Mara in Kenya. It seems as if the storm has passed. She's in a completely different habitat for you to have a look at, so let's go on up to her.
Hello, and welcome to our regular viewers as well as the kids from Allenton. It is fantastic to have you. You've just been with Noel in South Africa with the leopard Tandi, and now you are with some rather drenched antelope here in Kenya. So how amazing is that? On your live safari, you even get to travel between 2 different countries in the blink of an eye. Just apologies for our late start. It's suffice to say we had a little bit of rain, but I'll explain that in just a few moments. A quick introduction. My name is Jamie. This afternoon, Adrian is on camera with me, and we've been hiding in our vehicle with the rain pouring down. So luckily we've got sides that fold up and fold down depending on what the weather is, and we've just been stuck in a storm for about an hour and a half, but we are back, and we are with some antelope looking a little bit damp this afternoon. Now, Grace, you wanted to know about what does a leopard prey on? What is a leopard's prey? What is their favorite food? Now, out here in Kenya, we also get leopards. We also get cheetah and lions, just like in South Africa. And these little antelopes antelope, which are basically the African equivalent of deer, I suppose you could call them. These little antelope would definitely be food for a leopard or a cheetah or a lion. And these are all male. Thompson's gazelle is what we call them. It's a type of antelope. Now, for all of these animals, they live completely wild, which means when it rains, when there's a big storm like that, they can't do anything except wait for it to go away. So they have to stand out in the rain, and what they usually do is they stand with their backs to where the storm is coming from. But you can see they're not too worried anymore. The storm has passed and they're starting to think about lunch. So they're having a little bit of a snack now that all of the rain is gone. So leopards, cheetah will eat a lot of different types of antelope. Now there we go, talking about what leopards eat. Now Patty, you want to know, what do gazelles eat? Well, you can see right now they are eating grass. So remember, a gazelle is a type of antelope, and antelope are herbivores, which means obviously that they feed on plants, whether it's grass or leaves. Now some antelope eat only grass, and some antelope eat only leaves, and some antelope eat a mixture of both of those. So something like a wildebeest, for example, will eat grass, and something like an impala will eat both grass and leaves. Now, you haven't seen a wildebeest or an impala yet, but that's okay. That's something that we're going to try and find you while we drive around here. So we're going to go in search of something else, searching for an antelope. Now, there's another person driving out here in the Mara, and that is Taylor, and she's found something much bigger than these Thompson's gazelles.
But they also eat the same thing, Jamie. We've got some buffalo, and it is quite nice out here at the moment because it was a little bit warm, and then it was windy, and then the big clouds came over, and it poured with rain. Can you believe it? And it rained and rained and rained, and I reckon all these buffalo would have been hiding away, maybe using some of the trees to try and shelter themselves. But luckily, Craig and I managed to stay nice and dry. But we did get a little bit wet, and I've been catching insects with my eyes this afternoon, so that's been a lot of fun. My name is Taylor, and I'm very excited to have all of you from Allenton School. Right, now Casey, first question. You're wondering, why did these buffalo have horns? Shall we take a closer look? Well, we might see more than we're bargained for. We'll talk about the buffalo's horns, but you can see with all the grass that the buffalo have to eat, so they have to go to the toilet too. But you can see those buffalo's horns is basically made of keratin. So if you look at your nails, you know how you can bite your nails without it being sore, so there's no nerves in the top of that, so it's made of the same stuff, which is quite cool. Now you could hear another vehicle coming past us. There's lots of people on safari up here in the Masai Mara National Reserve. Everyone's driving around very excited to see all of these mind them at all. And I wonder, first time that any of you have seen buffalo in the wild, because essentially you are on a safari vehicle. Oh, sorry everybody, it seems as though there's a few little gremlins that are attacking us this afternoon. Might be all the wind and the rain and the thunder and the lightning, but that's okay. The storm is passing, which is good, so we are all now safe from the lightning. And they're just chewing away, having a bit of a... Buffalo will have a lot more insects around them than I have any trouble with. And there they are. That's very cool. Now, I've heard some rumors that there's some cheetah in the area, so we're hopefully going to go and find them. Okay, everybody, it seems as though the gremlins are being very naughty this afternoon, so I'm going to send you back down to South Africa, where hopefully the sun or the rain or the wind will keep those gremlins away.
So sorry about those technical difficulties with Taylor. It does happen from time to time because we are live, so anything that happens to us, you all get to see, and every now and then the technical difficulties, which we call gremlins, attack us. So if anyone doesn't know what a gremlin is, a gremlin's a little creature that is nice and cuddly and cute until it gets wet, and then it turns into a crazy creature. So now Thandi, as we know, has moved. She's moved closer to the kill. The kill is just behind her in the tree to the left there. I think we might be able to see a little bit of the top. There we go. Just on the left-hand side of your screen, you can just see the back end. That little fur through the branches there, that is what's left of what I believe is the Waterbuck kill. So you saw some antelope up there with Jamie and Taylor. Another type of antelope is a waterbuck, and they're very, very furry, kind of like a donkey. Dylan, good question. Dylan, I believe Thandi is about 6. But actually, the best person to ask that is Tristan, because my brain has just frozen and gone, oh my goodness gracious. I think maybe she's more, Seb says, maybe closer to 8. But I think we'll have to ask Tristan to double confirm for us. But good question, Dylan. Keep them coming, everybody. We love them. Leopards can live to be about 18 years old in the wild. That's really pushing it, but I do know some female leopards that have lived that long. Males tend to live a little bit less, but I have also run into male leopards that have lived as long as sort of 16, 17, 18 years. Most of the time when you get around the age of sort of 15, you're pretty old as a leopard. And even a little bit younger, sometimes it's 12 if you're a male. The males, it's harder for them because their territories, there's always young males coming in trying to push them out. Tristan's telling me through our directors into my ear that Thandi is actually much, much older than I thought she was. She's 11 going on 12. Thank you very much, Tristan. So everybody, she's actually quite an old leopard. She still has a lot of years left in her. I wouldn't be surprised. She's quite good at what she does as a leopard. I wouldn't be surprised if she lives to be closer to 18. But I'm very surprised that she's 11 or 12. So everybody, Tristan's worked in this area on and off for many, many, many years. I've only come in and out sort of infrequently until I started working with Safari Live more permanently into this particular piece of property. There's lots of other reserves around us as well. And so Tristan used to work a lot with Thandi's mum, whose name was Karula. And when Tristan and I first met about 7 years ago, when I did some work for him at his other lodge that he was working at, we used to run into Karula quite a bit. And she unfortunately has passed away, and so now part of her area is Thandi's area. Angela, good question, sweetie. You want to know why do leopards hide under a tree in the summer? Well, Angela, they'll also do it in the winter. Sometimes they're in a tree, and sometimes they put their kill underneath a tree. It's a type of caching. Either way is fine, but in our summertime, Angela, it is very, very, very hot. And because leopards are covered in fur, and again, they don't sweat, they have to pant to alleviate, and also she's eaten all that meat. She's just trying to find the best shady spot possible, and under trees is a good shady spot. So she did have her kills up inside a tree yesterday, and then today, I think it's easier for her little cub, to access it when it's underneath the bush like this, so she's brought it back down. And she's trying to have a nap, but I don't think it's going very well. She's too hot and uncomfortable. Julia, good question. Thandi's cub is about 3 months old. It's a little cub. So I believe Tristan and James first spotted Thandi going into her first den the first week of November. Is what I can remember. Maybe I feel like the 9th of November. It keeps tickling my head. But we'll go with the first week of November, first 10 days of November. And we are now almost into February, so about just under 3 months old. All right, now while we wait for this little cub to come out and show itself, we have some baby antelope species up in the Masai Mara, so let's head on up there so you can have a look.
So you've heard a little bit about the baby leopard. Now look what we've found for you. A tiny, tiny baby antelope, different to the ones that you saw earlier. And this little baby is called a Dopey antelope standing next to some zebra. Itchy, still trying to find its way in the world. Now, I don't know how old this baby is, but I have to tell you, I think it is really, really young. Maybe even only a couple of hours old. Shame. What a start to its life. Caught in the middle of a storm. Being rained upon. Now that's one of the bigger baby topies. They were born a few months ago. Look at it go! Look at it run! Run, little baby! It's really important for these baby antelope to be able to run as quickly as possible. So something like a leopard or a cheetah or a lion can't catch them. This is so sweet. There we go. Mom's drying out its fur after the rain. Thank you, Mom. Stopping to make sure that every part of it is dry so it doesn't get too cold. The wind is starting to blow. Oh, I think this is a very new baby. Okay, Mom, I'm done now. I want to try and run around. Look, there's a friend for me to play with. Much bigger friend. Much, much bigger. So in a few months, that tiny baby at the back will look just like this one in the front. But it's still got some growing to do, and this is probably the most dangerous time in its life. It's still got to learn to run fast, and of course, topi are actually the fastest antelope that we have out here. Oh, it's a bit wobbly. These leg things are still quite complicated. It has to use all four instead of just two like we do as human beings. And we've got months to learn. As our little baby antelope sniffs around and learns a bit more about its world. They're so cute. Okay, we're just going to have a quick look at the zebra because Aria's asked a question about them. So we'll take our eyes off the baby antelope for now, and we will answer the question from Aria about why do zebras have stripes. Do you want to know something interesting? Nobody actually really knows. Nobody really knows why zebra have stripes. So most people seem to agree that it does help them with camouflage, but only really when they're quite far away or when they're running together in a group or in a herd. And then it's quite difficult for the predators to be able to single out an individual. In other words, it's hard for them. They can see that there's zebra running, but they can't see where one starts and where it ends. So they don't quite know where to jump when it comes to attacking them. Some people also say that it helps to keep them cool because the black stripes, in theory, heat up faster than the white stripes, and it creates sort of like a little wind on the zebra's coat to help them cool down. I'm not sure I buy that. And then there's another theory that says it makes it more difficult for insects to land. Their eyesight, the eyesight of the insect. Look at this little thing. I'm really sorry. I think the name was Alice who was asking about how long a zebra lives. I hope I've got your question right. Now you want to know about how long a zebra will live. I'm sorry, it's just so cute. It's running all over the show. Alice, a zebra is kind of like a horse, so it can live for up to 20 years. It's in a situation where they are in captivity. So a zebra is very closely related to a horse. Actually, probably more closely related to a donkey. So around about 20 years, maybe longer, maybe even up to 30, if it's a clever zebra and can stay away from the predators. I can't stop watching this baby. It's running everywhere. It's so cute. There it is. It stopped to pose for you, Adrian. Oh, where's everybody gone? Oh, no, it hasn't stopped to pose. It stopped to poop. Oh, we're sorry about that, everyone. Sometimes our signal's coming and going. I'm sure it's the weather. Oh, back. Where's Mum? There's Mum. Quick. Run. Run. Oopsie, careful. Speed wobble. Now, this is all really, really important to make its legs nice and strong. Oh, we're going back this way. Oh, we're going this way again. Run, 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 run. Oh, the other Toby want to play. Now everybody's running. Now we're skipping. Now which Toby is this now? Is that Mom? I can't quite work it out. I hope that's Mom. I think that's Mom. Maybe not. Now everybody's running. Yeah, it's chaos. Yes, you stay close to Mom. There's a lot of big babies here that would want to play. Now Casey, you want to know why don't antelopes sweat? Now, that's a complicated answer, Casey, because you're absolutely right. It gets very hot here, and leopards pant, but antelope don't really pant, although I've seen them panting before. So antelope can't really sweat because of that covering of fur. So you'll find that most animals out here don't sweat. They have different ways of cooling themselves down. One is lots and lots of lots of blood vessels in the nose. In other words, just like on your well, they've got lots of blood vessels around their nose, so that when they breathe, tricking their brains into thinking that they're actually quite a lot cooler than they are. Sorry about this, everyone. Apparently our signal's really struggling in this weather, which is why you're not hearing everything I'm saying. Oh, look at its little feet. So much running around for such a tiny little one. And we're going again. And we're back again. In a world of its own. Oh, back round and round in circles. This is amazing. I don't think it can believe it's finally out in the big wide world. Oh, is that Mum? Nope. Okay. Now, while everybody runs around, Hudson would like to know about a zebra again. Hudson, you want to know if all zebra have the same stripes. Hudson, they do not. Every zebra has a unique stripe pattern. So let's say there was a baby zebra the same age as that tiny little antelope that we've been watching. In that situation, that little zebra actually learns its mum's stripes around her shoulder, because that's where its head is. So it can see those stripes and sort of remember them. That is its mum. But if you look at the zebra, you'll see that there's subtle differences to their stripes, and every single zebra is unique. That was badly different. You can see that sometimes I think you can see with one zebra is related to another zebra. Their stripes look similar, just like perhaps your eyes look like your mum's eyes or your dad's, or perhaps you look a little bit like your brothers or sisters, but you still look different. Okay, we're going to carry on and look.
We are still here with Tandi, of course, and she's still hot. She's still lying near her kill. We've just repositioned ourselves a little bit, and we're just waiting to get another glimpse of this little cub, who I have a feeling is hiding in the undergrowth, not too far from us, but it is teeny tiny. It's about the size of a mini football, a mini soccer ball. And so we're just, again, keeping our eyes out. But you can see her coat pattern really nicely from here. You can see those whiskers we talked about. You can see there's the rosettes. There's a really great poem or a short story by Rudyard Kipling called Why a Leopard Doesn't Change Its Spots, that you guys might like to look at it sometimes. Brian, I believe you're asking me, Are leopards lazy all day long? So, oh, Bryson, excuse me, sweetie, Bryson. Bryson, you're asking, are leopards lazy all day long? Most cat species are lazy all day long because it's hot during the day. As it cools down, they start moving around. But that's not to say that they don't move sometimes in the heat of the day. I've also seen them hunt in the heat of the day. But yeah, they in general move when it's cooler. So at night or in the early mornings and a late afternoon. So mostly lazy all day long indeed. A lion, for instance, will sleep for about 16 to 20 hours a day. Leopards sleep less than that, but not by much. And then also she's very full. So if you all think about a big holiday dinner or a big family dinner you might have where you stuff yourself so full you can't fit into your fat pants, that's what she's like right now. Her fat pants don't fit. Sophia, you're asking if Tandi is okay because she's breathing so hard. Sophia, she is fine. She's just very hot. So she's breathing hard to help digest all of that meat that's in her fat little belly right now, and also to try and cool herself off. Now, it hasn't cooled down like it should have as of yet because we have a storm a-brewing, and so it's humid. We don't get humid as you would get in Virginia, but it does get humid here, and you can see that storm just in the background here forming with lots and lots of clouds, and that makes the heat and the humidity, it holds the heat in and makes the humidity rise up. So for her being covered in fur, it is rather uncomfortable, unfortunately. Great questions, everybody. I like them. Keep them coming. It's great. Now, where I'm looking for the cub is just here to the side. Can you see all these branches? It's a dead branch that's fallen off, and it's very thick in there. And I have a feeling that the little cubbo is now under this part, probably resting, because Mom keeps looking over in this direction. She also hasn't called the cub yet, and they call the cub, a lion calls a cub like this. A leopard's more of a, I'm so bad at it, but I'm going to try. A leopard's more of a, like a deeper, sort of rustier sound. She's looking at me while I do that. Did you see that, Seb? I did. Vivian, good question. You're asking what the cub's name is. That's what Tandi thinks of my leopard call. She is looking at me with disdain, as leopards do. The cub, Vivian, doesn't have a name yet. It's still too young. Usually, leopards only start getting names when they're female at about 2 years old, and then the male's a little bit older. Here on Djuma, we tend to give leopards names around a year old, both male and female, and that has a lot to do with us because we see them often, especially the females who take over part of their mom's territories and then tend to stick around in general. But so this little cub doesn't have a name yet. And one of the reasons why we wait to name them for them to be older is that the mortality rate, the death rate of little cubs, it can be quite high. So there are other leopards that might try and kill the cub, or lion, or cheetah, or hyena, or mongoose. It's a very difficult life for a small either leopard or lion cub, or even cheetah cub, and Mom really has to do a very good job of being a mom. And it's hard for her because she has to go far away to hunt sometimes for a few days at a time. Tandi's done really well at keeping this cub alive, and we hope that she's going to keep doing very well and that circumstances allow this cub to grow up into an adult so that we can keep watching her for many generations. Good questions, everyone. Madeline, you want to know, do leopards have the same spots or rosettes? They don't. Every leopard's coat pattern is unique to the individual, just like Jamie would have said about the zebra. And then it's a little bit hard. She's got this tiny little branch in front of her face, but they have what's known as a spot pattern that's above their whisker line that's also unique. But even just the rosettes on her body are unique to her. Ooh, Abigail, you're now asking, how do you tell who's who? There we go. So do you see the top whisker line? And then she's got two little dots above there. Those are unique to Tandi. So that's the right-hand side of her face. So she's got 2 spots there, and then when she turns around, we'll see what's on, sorry, that's her right-hand side, and we'll see what's on her left-hand side. So those spots above there are unique to each individual, and that's how we tell who's who. Abigail, we also tell who's who by where they are. Now, female leopards, when they reach 2 and then a little bit older, they take over part of their mom's territory, and then sometimes a little bit of possibly another female that might not be around anymore. And then they hold those territories for most of their lives. And so that's another way we can tell who's who. That's not to say that no other leopards will come in. And remember, they're territorial not for other predators, just for other leopards. And so we know that this is Tandi's territory. It would be unusual to see another female in here. It can happen, but 90% of the time, the female that you find in this area is going to be Tandi. So that's another way that we tell. Drake, you're curious to know why is Tandi closing her eyes? She's closing her eyes because she's tired. So Drake, if you think about stuffing your belly so full that you can't actually move anymore, and you're lying on the couch, but you're also so uncomfortable you can't really sleep, and you try and close your eyes and you lie there and you go, oh, I just want to sleep, and then you have to open them because you have to move because you're uncomfortable because you ate too much. It's like that. See, she's looking at us like, yeah, exactly. I'm very uncomfortable. Olivia, she killed 2 things yesterday. She killed a small waterbuck, and she also killed a steenbok. Now, I am going to get my mammal book out so that you can see what I am talking about. Let me just find it for you quickly. So, this, here we go. This is a waterbuck with the little circle on the bum. These are adult waterbucks. The male has horns, the females don't. And this would not have been the size. It was a baby waterbuck that she killed. Oh, she's moving. She's going to go possibly over to the kill, or she's just going to sit in a different position. But that's fine. That gives me a chance to find you also a steenbok. So steen means brick in Afrikaans, one of the 11 official languages in South Africa. So a brick-colored book or buck. Sorry, everybody. I will find it just now. So again, because she's uncomfortable, she's turning herself around, she's moving herself around a little bit. She's just trying really hard to manage to get into a spot that makes her happy. But she's also doing it because she's possibly going to go back to that kill, which will be fantastic if she does that while she's with us. And then, now that she's turned her back on us, here is the steenbok. Tiny little antelope. There's the male on top with tiny little horns. And then the female is down here. No horns. Now, here we go. And big ears. They eat grass. There we go. And there's the male. Now, the steenbok stands about this tall. It's like the size of a Jack Russell dog, if any of you know about that size, or 2 wiener dogs on top of each other. I can't think of the actual real name of a wiener dog right now. Maybe one of you can remember. A dachshund, is that correct? I think that's correct. Look, she's gone over to the kill. Absolutely fantastic. She's moving it. Look at that. She's pulling it out. Now I'm just going to wait to see how far she pulls it out, and then I'll move the car so that we can see a little bit better. Leopards are quite fastidious, meaning that they're very picky about their food and how they eat it, so they like to take the fur off, which is what she's doing right now. So I don't think she's going to move it too much. I just want to move the car so that you all can see what she's doing. There, she's going to move it a little bit more. There we go. Where are you going to go, Thandi? Are you going to stay there? All right, I'm going to move forward then so we can see a little bit better. And then I know that one of the things that you all are doing with your science course at school is talking about predators and prey. So watching her feed is going to be really, really great. Now, I don't want to go too much more forward because of where we think that the little cub is. So actually, I'm going to go quickly forward, and then we're not in between her and where we think the cub is. And I'm just going to turn the vehicle like this, and then we're going to be able to see, and then the cub can come around the back side of the car when it's ready. I'm sorry, Thandi. Okay, do you want me to move, my leaf? I will move. All right, I'm moving. So Thandi's saying to me, Noelle, I don't like the spot that you're in, and I'm saying, okay, madam. And so I'm gonna move around just a little bit like this, and there we go. Hattie, good question. You're curious to know, how do I tell if this is a male or a female? Hattie, it has a lot to do with her size. Males are about twice the size that she is, a full-grown male. Also, around her neck, do you see how slender her neck is? A male has a really thick neck, and then they get a flap of skin called a dewlap, which hangs down. The females tend not to get that. And there she goes, picking all the fur out, so that she can get into the meat. Oh, Oliver, you're wondering how sharp are her. Really good terminology for any sort of predator that you're going to see out here, carnassial shear. Also, I think wolves also have carnassial shears. And coyotes will have carnassial shears, as will lion and cheetah. And so she's going to pick all that fur out and then lick it off with her rough tongue. And then she's going to get into where the meat is. She's going to pull the skin with her teeth, and then she's going to put it in the side of her mouth and chew on it with her carnassial shear. And that's how she gets, there she goes. Hello, darling. And so, yes, but now if she were to try and bite us, she's not going to bite us. She did give us a little bit of a warning earlier. She just said, Noelle, I need a little bit more space. So we gave her a little bit more space. But those front teeth are going to be sharp as well. Now, Allenton Elementary School, thank you so much for joining us. You guys had the best questions. I really do hope that you fully enjoyed everything that we just saw, and I hope you join us again sometime. And we will see you all maybe next week, maybe tomorrow. You never know. Cheers. What is that? Thandi, I'm sorry. I've moved away. I'm very sorry, my girl. We're good. She just got a little bit upset with me there as I moved my leg, but she's better now. So welcome to all of our viewers who have been with us through the school drive. We hope you've been enjoying so far. It has been an excellent 45 minutes. And don't forget, we're live and interactive. Hashtag Safari Live on Twitter or on the YouTube chat. Send through those questions. We love them, or comments. We love them. And we know that you all love Thandi, and we're hoping that her cub pays us a little visit just now. Now, my buddy Tristan's on the other side of Djuma, or possibly on Chitwa. I actually don't know where he is right now, but he has a bird he'd like to show you, so let's head on over to him.
Well, Noelle, no, we're not near Chitwa at the moment. We are in the middle of Djuma. We're at Chelapan looking at a hummerkop that we thought maybe, just maybe, might begin hunting and might start doing some sort of rooting around with its feet, as they do sometimes, trying to kind of entice little frogs to move, and then they use that big beak to come down and grab them. And so they're always fun birds to watch and to see whether or not they can go about their business and find things. But you can see why it's called a hummerkop. If you look at its head, hummer and kop in Afrikaans means a hammerhead, and it refers to the shape of that head and how it kind of looks when, especially when its neck is out a little bit. And you'll find they walk around in these small muddy wallows, and they try and find sort of areas that they can disturb all kinds of different creatures and food items, and then from there they, like I say, extend that neck very quickly and grab the food source. So I was hoping it would be a bit more active than it is. It seems as though it's just going to sit and not do very much at all. But while we're sitting here and waiting for it to try and maybe do something, for those of you that remember, and I have some good news, that we have a genet that was around, and we used to call it Janet Jackson, and it lived in a tree with a hole close to sort of Twin Dams Weaver's Nest area. And we've driven past that tree countless times looking for Janet Jackson, and Janet Jackson was nowhere to be found. But this afternoon I went past and Janet Jackson was home. We had all of about a split-second view of it disappearing deeper into the tree. And interestingly enough, there was lilac-breasted rollers that were nesting there at the beginning of the summer. And underneath the hole where Janet Jackson sits, I found the wings of a lilac-breasted roller. So I feel like maybe Janet Jackson evicted the neighbors and has taken them out and eaten them, unfortunately, but is back, which is quite good news. So where Janet Jackson has been, I have no idea, and why it's kind of come back all of a sudden is also quite interesting. So we'll try and see if we can get it on camera again next time. Unfortunately, I was right up against the tree when I noticed it because I didn't expect it to be there. We haven't seen it for a very long time, so nice surprise though, that's for sure. Very cool. But our Hammerkop is not doing too much, so I think we're going to carry on. We're going to leave it to do its thing. I was hoping, like I say, that it would do something. It also seems to be getting quite dark and a bit of a breeze coming up, which is not the worst thing. The weather's hopefully means that we'll get some movement of some of the animals. It's been incredibly quiet. We've checked Treehouse, we've checked Twin Dams, we've checked all over the place, and we haven't found very much at all. I think I've seen one impala the whole time, which is not very good at all. So just still rooting around and checking around. At this stage, that male lion tracks that we had, I can't find any further sign of them, so I don't know. I'm waiting for it to get a little bit cooler and darker before I'll head back into that area and hope that that lion either makes a noise or we're able to pick it up on the road. Now, I believe a lot of you are very happy to hear about Janet Jackson and the news. It is very, very cool to hear. I'm certainly very glad that Janet Jackson is around. Mr. Q-Tip, you're wondering if Janet Jackson has a mate. Well, Mr. Q-Tip, I have no idea, to be honest. Unfortunately, Janet Jackson is so shy that it's very seldom that we get to see whether or not she has a mate and see what's going on with her. We've seen sort of situations where we've had brief glimpses, and there was one day where there was a lot of noise coming out of the particular tree, but we didn't actually get to see any sign of two of them. It looked like there might be two, but we weren't 100% sure. So maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. I'm not 100% sure. Maybe it's got young ones. And I thought I saw something here that I just want to double check. Of course, I don't want to drive over it. No, nothing there that I can see. I was hoping that it might be a leopard track for a young male leopard because, well, I'm back now and I want to be able to catch up with all of our young boys as well as all of the other leopards. I'm a bit jealous of Scott and Noel and James and Steve, who've all had these amazing sightings over the last couple of weeks. So hopefully catch up with some of the spots as well this afternoon. Now I'm going to head along Ingwe Alley, see those little there, see if there's anything hanging on there. I'll do that. Let's head back across to McMuddy and hope that she doesn't get stuck.
Hello again, everybody. I just thought I'd say, how's it? Look at what we found. Some cheetah. Finally. So earlier I said that I heard whispers about the Fast Five being around. Well, there they are. And there are also some lovely tourists waving, pointing, spotting, all the things you do when you come on a safari. And it got quite exciting at one point, but unfortunately the gremlins got hold of us. There we go. There's D'Artagnan, the one standing up with a collar, in case you don't know who he is. And you're wondering, in case you hear that name. Anyways, so sitting down below, we saw all the topi and their eyes were fixated on all the little croton shrubs. But they've moved away from them since. And unfortunately, the topi have got such great eyesight. They spotted the cheetah and then started alarming, and then all the Thompson's gazelle moved away. But we were in such a great position. We were really hoping that they were going to come charging out of the bushes and chase some of the gazelle around, but they didn't. They didn't at all. D'Artagnan is doing his rounds. He's being quite nice to everybody. It's funny because we see them bullying one another and then we see them being slightly affectionate. Couple of licks here, head rub, not too much. And it looks like they've dried out nicely as well. So the rain must have stopped here quite a while ago. It's not as wet as it was where we were. So maybe these boys got lucky. Now, there is even one more surprise, but I just couldn't give it to you all at once. I don't know if I have communication with Final Control either, because there were some gremlins up here. We're just giving it a bash, so I apologize if I'm rambling on. And, hi, Megan, I can hear you. And there was a lioness that's around here too. She was walking about, but going in a completely the opposite direction. It looks like the cheetah have actually relaxed, because they were looking to the right, but they're no longer looking in that direction anymore. You can see they're looking all around. So she looked like she was on the move too. But the only problem is, in the area where she was going to, it was down on a slope, and I don't really want to be off-roading on a slope when we have had a little bit of rain. There's another vehicle. Hello. They're going to be very excited to see these cheetah, don't you think? Imagine if that was you in one of those cars, knowing that you were coming around. Nathan, a great question from you, and it's actually something we need to clarify. You're wondering if the Musketeers and the Fast Five are the same coalition of cheetah. Yes, they are. There's a group of lions called the Musketeers, so the Fast Five seems fitting. I think it's quite a cool name, in fact. So that seems to be the standard now in the Masai Mara National Reserve, from what everybody is saying. All the guides are starting to call them the Fast Five too, though I suppose that old name, the Musketeers, does stick around. But it doesn't really matter, but it is the same ones. It is still D'Artagnan with the collar around his neck. This is very relaxing. Craig, what do you think about going to see that lioness? Shall we go have a squiz? I think so. Now, I'm going to reposition. And Wendy, you were wondering if they've decided amongst the cheetah, I suppose, who the boss is. I have not spent enough time with the Musketeers to be able to answer that. But times that I've seen both D'Artagnan being bullied a fair amount, and I've also seen him bullying the other males too. So they all seem to boss each other around. But you know, Scott was the cheetah man of Africa, and, well, he might be able to answer that. We can also ask Brent and Jamie, maybe Jamie. Ah, I can see where the lions are. Well, that lioness is. Hello. Just up here, I think that lioness is, I don't know where she was going. She was marching towards the tree line. She actually seemed like she was moving quite quickly. Now, actually, just as I've come higher up, I've seen there's a little watering hole behind us. Well, something that's filled up. Gazelle, I don't know. Quite interesting. We'll go and investigate. Oh goodness, Craig. A few little bumps now. Ah, okay, and I was just speaking of Jamie. What I shall do is I will send you across to her while we try and figure out how to get a view of this lioness and what she's up to. And she's got some hyena.
I do have hyena. I did actually have lions as well, but unfortunately we couldn't find any signal to show them to you, which was most unfortunate. But that's okay, because there's plenty out here on the plains to keep us entertained. Adrian and I are quite convinced that there was something in the rain that just fell, because absolutely everything had a sort of a crazy 5 minutes. You saw that baby antelope dashing about. All of a sudden, we were surrounded by impala and zebra and gazelle and topi, and everything was just running in every direction without any sense of purpose, no alarm calling. There was nothing actually actively scaring them. Well, at least I don't think so. They were just being chaotic. And then all of the little baby topi were dashing around and bouncing up into the air. Unfortunately, of course, because I wanted to show this to you. Oh, there we go, there's a stot. Stot, the high trot. Because I wanted to show this all to you, the hyenas came in and everybody was back on their best behaviour. What's this hyena after? Seen something. Something's got it interested. Oh, is it going after that little Tommy? There's no way. No, it's not going after that little Tommy. I was going to say, that seems a bit ambitious. As a solitary hyena that doesn't quite have the same turn of speed as a Thompson's gazelle. I would have been very surprised. You see the topies all dashing around at the top there, Thompson's gazelle dashing about. It's all quite bizarre. A silly 5. for the animals of the Mara after the rain. Now we're all running again. Oh, there we go again. Oh, we're all running. Okay, everybody's running. We don't know what we're running from, but we're running. And we're running this way. Do you know what you're running from, actually, to be fair? What are they running from? This is so weird. This is so weird. Oh, they're just running. Everybody's just running. I guess I would if I could. Maybe it feels good to run in the rain. Or in the mud. I don't know. No, there's nothing. They're not running from anything. But they've got the Thompson's gazelle involved as well. Now everybody's dashing about. Oh, now the zebra are panicking. You see, this is what happened to us earlier. What has got into you lot? Paula says that everybody's full of spunk after the rain. Absolutely. They're full of high spirits. They've also all gone mad. Now the hyena's gone running towards them. Everybody's dashing about, but nobody's alarm calling. None of the antelope are staring in a direction. They're just all completely bonkers. Well, the zebra have started again. This is so weird. Alright, you weirdos. Not you. I'm not talking to those of you who are enjoying our show. I'm talking to the animals. I'm going to try and watch this for a little bit longer because it's quite fascinating. But Taylor's managed to find a good view of her lioness. Let's go and join her.
We do. It's going to be a quick one. You won't believe what we've just seen. I've just watched her rub her face up on a shrub and then urinate up against a tree. Sorry, she's scent marking. It's so cool. Now, I always talk about it. Unfortunately, we didn't get to see it. She's going up on the mound. Now, there's a variety of cars we need to try and get through, but I want to try and navigate through them as quick as I can so that, well, we can have a look at the lion. Let's see, everyone's having a fat conversation. They're pointing. The cheetah are back that way. The cheetah are back that way. Gap. You got to take the gaps when you're given them. That's all I'm saying. Hey, Craig. Jumping through the next gap. We'll get up ahead. We're lucky we can sit from a distance. Another Mara maneuver. It's so funny. I love it. Right. She's out. She's out of the croton thicket. Thank goodness. Okay, now we need to look out for this behavior because I've told you about it, about that lioness with a kinky tail and one of the prides down in the triangle up against the escarpment. And it's the most incredible thing. Now, Paula, you're wondering if now do lionesses not scent mark often? Do you know, it's the first time that I've seen lionesses scent mark. I've never seen it in South Africa. Obviously a lion or a leopard rubbing up against a shrub, rubbing those glands in their cheeks up on the sides of the leaves, and then urinating, basically spraying the urine back up against the leaves. So we see the males doing this, and we see it with male and female leopard, but I've never seen it with the lionesses. Apologies everybody, there's a bit of breakup. Also some buffalo on the top left hand side of your screen. She doesn't seem too interested in them just yet. Oh, she's contact calling. Who is she looking for? This is the next question. So Craig and I, all afternoon, have been hearing lion calls, and I thought it wasn't a male. I said, it sounds like a female. We obviously heard it this morning, and then we've heard different ones this afternoon. It's not the same ones. And I wonder if it's been this cat or if it was another one that's perhaps was trying to get her attention. See, look at this. Scraping, urinating, putting that scent under her feet. It's a pity it's not the shrub, though, so you can see how they classically do that. Now, it's important. Oh, okay, we'll come back to this. I'm going to send you back down to South Africa. There's some birds that are not very happy.
Well, there are many birds not very happy, and the reason why is that a Wahlberg's eagle has swooped in and just grabbed a francolin, and you can see it's just pulling it up into the tree, and now look at all the feathers being ripped out of this bird. It was still alive a few seconds ago. It was fluttering and kicking and squawking, but I think it might be dead now, given that it's not really moving too much now that the kind of feathers are being pulled out. So I think it's our dark form Wahlbergs that comes from the Twin Dams area. I think it's that one that we've got, or could be actually the one from a bit north of us. We're about equidistant from where both nests are, but it's a really big kill that it's managed to make. It's grabbed what looks like quite a large crested francolin. It's difficult because it's against the light, but you can see all the feathers being ripped out. You can see the feet of the francolin and the head hanging down now, and slowly but surely it's just getting rid of all of those feathers, because obviously very difficult to digest feathers. It's not an easy thing to be able to eat those and digest them, and for a bird they rather get rid of all of that and then expose that flesh where they're able to then feed off it. Now we're parked quite far away at the moment. If it is either one of our Wahlbergs, it actually might be habituated enough for us to get a bit closer, but there you go, you see it's opened the stomach now by the looks of things. It's busy pulling at something there. It looks like it's got some sort of food item. Well, do you reckon we can get a bit closer? I wonder. If it's one of the habituated ones, well, we say habituated because it's just so used to us being right near the nest that sometimes they'll stay quite close. So I'm going to try and just position a little bit differently, because I want to try and see if maybe VM can get slightly better light for him against that white background. Is very, very difficult. But I believe a lot of you are saying this is amazing. It is absolutely incredible. We were driving around here trying to see if we could find any tracks, and we heard all these francolins going crazy, and we thought, oh, we were in with maybe a leopard or something, and we got here and then we just saw this bird flying up to the tree with this carcass. So really quite incredible stuff. Now it seems to be quite relaxed, so let's try and see if we can get in a little closer. There's just a gap here that I want to try. VM, let's have a look if it's going to let us get all the way. So Sinak, you're asking, is it common for Wahlbergs? Oh no, it's flown. Oh, we would have had the perfect view as well. So Sinak, you're wondering if it's common to hunt francolins. Yes, it is. Now it's landed up ahead of us, so we'll try and get there to where it is. Such a pity, it was just that last little branch that made a noise, then it flew off from there. Now I'm just trying to see how far it is to get to that tree, but let's try. Well, I've lost where it's sitting now, Vildi. Can you see it, Vildi? It flew off again. Now I'm just trying to see if we can get a better view of it from somewhere here. I thought I saw it landed, but VM says he thinks it's flown off. So I wonder if it hasn't flown off towards the nest site. I'm going to go try and see if it's gone to the nest. Maybe it's going to try and feed the chick with that francolin that it's just caught. So while we do that, let's head back across to another mother that is also feeding its little one.
She is feeding, another mother that's feeding. That Wahlberg's eagle kill sounds absolutely amazing. She's moved the kill a little bit farther back into the grass there. And we're just staying put and just keeping an eye out for this little cub. We think that it's just full and sleeping underneath some bushes. But we will have to wait and see. She hasn't tried to call it out yet, so I think she's enjoying a meal on her own for a little bit. And then when she walked past us earlier, she was looking very full, but she was also looking like she was lactating, of course, because she's still feeding the cub milk as well. And so hopefully she'll nurse eventually. And while we're waiting for the cub to pop its head out, let's head back up to the Masai Mara to Jamie, who's out and about and has another predator that's a little bit more active than ours.
This is absolutely incredible. I know what's going on. I understand what's going on now. These hyenas are harassing the animals after the rain because they're waiting for one of them to fall down, and they're targeting zebra foals. Look at this. This is absolutely incredible. We're actually having an opportunity to watch these hyenas hunt. And every now and again, one of the stallions fights back and chases them. Listen to the sounds of panic. This is a really, really rare opportunity. We never get to see this. You can see the zebra bunching together. The hyenas are, look, there it goes again, trying to stave them off, but the stallion doesn't want to fall too far behind the rest of the group. So the stallion's acting as the protector. Okay, hold on, we're going to, oh, nearly got a kick in the face there. Hold on. We're going to turn around. Oh, there goes the zebra for it again. That's what they've been doing. That's why the animals are panicking. They're just snapping at their heels. Okay, watch this. I have never ever seen this. This is a really incredible opportunity. Tails up, excited, waiting for the panic to set in. And it just takes one mistake. The hyena can do this all afternoon. There's an eland not at all bothered. Not quite in the league. And then that's it. Now they're done. Now which way are they going to go? No, they're going to keep going. They're going to keep harassing. Oh, you can see some, by the way, that's Talek in the back there, which you can see the cows. Oh, now the eland's after the hyena. No way! The eland might just have saved the zebra there because the hyenas thought twice about going after the zebra. Oh, man. Let's just hold off a little bit on that because I think we might be done here. But let's just see how this plays out a little bit longer. Hyena distracted now by a smell. There's another hyena. Hold on. There's another hyena now that's come into the mix. I don't know if it's going to go for the zebra or not. Paula, yes, absolutely a hyena would try to attack zebra. Is there another one over there? There's another hyena coming in. So the noise of the panic is actually attracting the hyenas of this clan. And they're all starting to gather. I just want to try and stay out of everybody's way. I think that these hyenas are tired of it. Yes, zebra well and truly on the hyenas menu, and a couple of them would be big enough to pull. I think 2 of them would have managed a zebra foal, but the stallion would have fought back. But now we've got 4. We've got 1 on the left over there. We've got 3 in front of us. The zebra have calmed down. It's a totally different hunting approach to what we see with the cats. Except for maybe the musketeers, the cheetah boys or the fast 5. They actually tend to do this. Okay, I think our hyenas have calmed down. Wow. Clever. Very, very clever. Taking full advantage of the confusion of the storm and the fact that the animals' adrenaline levels are still really high. Here we go, now we're doing a greeting ceremony, everybody's saying hello. Some genital sniffing happening, pretty typical hyena behavior. You can usually get a rough idea as to the ranking of individuals. I think the one in the middle is... actually, I take that back. Yeah, that one's, I think, pretty high up. Also had a good meal. Sinak, yes, it's possible that a zebra herd like that could fight back against a hyena clan. Well, a few hyenas like this. And I've actually seen that happen. I've seen it happen before where zebra have fought back and successfully chased hyena away. I've also seen it happen where the hyena have the zebra have fought back and unfortunately not been as lucky. I've seen them with a baby zebra before. That they, unfortunately, the zebra was dead. It was in the water already. They dragged it into the water. And the male, the stallion, the father of the foal, kept trying and trying and trying to come back and chase the hyenas away. You see, they've got those bone-crushing jaws. And any animal that risks getting too close to them risks a fatal injury. A broken leg, usually for an antelope or a zebra, will mean death. Wow. Really fascinating to watch how 2 hyenas absolutely terrorized that herd of zebra completely unsuccessfully. But if one zebra had slipped, they would have had a meal. James, I just said your name in the same way that we say James Hendry's name, which is James. James Richard would like to know about which clan this is. Look, I've been calling it the Talek clan, and I assume that would be their name, given that we are right on top of Talek. It would make the most sense. I'm pretty sure that's who they are. If they have another name, it's not one that I know of. Hello? Was that fun? Did you have fun? I think you had fun. I think that was half for food and half for fun. Nothing like causing chaos and terror, huh? Gets boring otherwise. What a fantastic afternoon. Between these hyenas and, of course, Tristan's amazing Wahlberg's sighting, let's go back and rejoin him and see how the consumption of the Franklin is going.
Well, we've managed to get the Wahlbergs flying to the nest. It has dropped the chick off. Well, sorry, the prey off with the chick, and the chick is down on top of that Franklin busy eating. You can't see anything anymore. We had the two birds there, and the adult has now flown away, and there's just one sitting on top. Now, you would swear that there is no bird in that nest. You would think that there's nothing there, but if you look on the right side, right up against the branch, you'll see a feather that will flutter in the breeze every now and then, and every so often we see its head just poking up as it bobs its head up and down. So there is a Wahlberg's inside there. It's just at this stage you can't see very much of it at all. But it was amazing to watch, because as the other one flew in and dropped that Franklin, so the chick ran over, quickly went over the sort of top of this Franklin and put its wings out and just sat there, and it was almost like to say, this is mine now, you thank you mom and dad, but you're not getting any more of it. And then the adult flew away. It was really quite something to see. Unfortunately though, it's now left us with very little in a way of a visual, and we've tried from different angles to try and get it, but very cool to witness. It's not something that we would get every single day, and certainly not something that we would expect to have seen, and to follow it back to the nest was very, very cool. But there we go. Not very much that we can see, unfortunately, so I think we're probably going to carry on. I was hoping that it would start feeding quite vigorously and we'd have a situation where we could see it feeding, but it seems as though our Wahlbergs has decided, nope, it's going to just hunker down and eat it from a low point. Now, there's a go-away bird that's also alarm calling. I think the adult is somewhere close by. I'm sure it hasn't flown very far away. It'll probably be just resting a little bit. How are we going to get out of here, Viam? Now, we're going to try and see if we can get out of here. Of course, it's going to be quite difficult. We're going to probably just drop our aerial a little bit, so if there's a bit of picture breakup, I do apologize. But hopefully, if we reposition slightly and with going through here, there might be a chance that we can get a view of the chick on the nest again. The chick looks very well developed. It looks as though it's in a situation where it's got, you know, full of feathers already. It's not in those molting sort of white feathers. It's got its dark plumage already, so it's a little dark morph individual that's there, unless a new pair has come in and is bred very late in the season, which I would be very surprised if that was the case. Now, can you see anything there, Viam? Is it up now? It doesn't look like it. Because they were very clear earlier, so I don't think it's up anymore, unfortunately. Let's have a look, though. No, I can't really see anything even from here. I was hoping that maybe if we came this way we might pick up something, but it seems as though it is completely flattened on that nest. And it's a difficult nest to try and sort of see into because of where it is situated. The road drops off very low, and so your angle is very tight. It goes from very low down up, and so you don't get to see much if the birds are not standing up. Anyway, though, very cool to see. Right. So, Debbie, wondering if the Wahlbergs built that nest or if they hijacked it. Well, Debbie, to be honest, I can't tell you for sure because I wasn't here when those Wahlbergs first started nesting there all those years ago. I believe they've been coming back for quite a few years. I know that last year and this year they've used nest and they've added to it, so maybe they built it originally and they've just every year they kind of do some tidying up and fix it all up from the sort of winter months when it gets blown about by wind and branches get moved around, and so they might be theirs originally or they might have hijacked it from somebody else, but I don't know the answer to that 100%. Wahlbergs generally though will build their own nests, and they will make sure that their nest is in a certain way that they like it. And so I wouldn't be surprised if the Wahlbergs built that themselves. So I think if I had to guess, I would say they did it themselves, but obviously I could be wrong. Okay, now where to from here? Now we're going to try and sort of move about and see what we can find. Maybe we'll go to Chitwa, I'm not sure, I haven't really decided. But while we do that, I believe Herbie is out and about this afternoon, which makes me very happy, and he is out on his bushwalk.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Herbert. With me is James Henry behind the camera. Of course, I'm out this afternoon in a bushwalk, and over there there's a Waterbuck very close to our pen or Djuma dam. I know Waterbuck is one of the animals that are associated with water, hence the name Waterbuck, because most of the time you find them hanging very close to the pens. They have got their own strategy of avoiding predators. So when they get chased by predators, they will run into the water. In their skin, they've got this fur and a special gland in which they'll secrete while in the water as a defense mechanism, so that all the water predators won't attack, because as soon as it gets in, it will just release the glands to drive away whoever is attacking them. As a defense mechanism or as a follow mechanism, unfortunately we are not in a right angle. At the back of the Waterbuck there's a big circle which they will use as a following mechanism. If they get chased by any predator, for them to locate one another, they will use that particular ring. So it's just checking around. I know that we do have some water at the pen. He was at the pen drinking and is now moving away from the pen. And for him to be safe, he needs to check around for any predators stalking her. I know it's a female because she doesn't have any horns. She feels safe from that angle because that's a space between us and her. She feels comfort. We are in a comfort zone of the animal. We're not looking as a threat at all. So, we're gonna move and see what she does. While doing that, I'm gonna send you to Noel, who is enjoying the famous leopard Tandi.
Thanks, Herbie. So Thandi got tired of eating her kill under a bush, so she is now back up in her marula tree with her Waterbuck kill, licking all that fur off so she can get into what is left of that meat. Her tiny little baby Waterbuck, still no sign of the cub. We still think it's taking a nap somewhere. Excuse me, everybody. I haven't seen a little cub like this up in a tree in a very long time, so I'm hoping at some point over the next sort of hour and a bit that it does pop out and it does get up into the tree. I will be over the moon, as I'm sure all of you will be as well. Now her tongue is very rough like sandpaper, so we talked about it a little bit with the lions the other night. It's rough like sandpaper, but it's also soft and squishy at the same time, like a tongue. But it needs to be rough like that to help take all of that fur off, so that she can get into the meaty bits. And then just like a house cat, she will get hairballs. And just like a house cat, she's very good at being on precarious branches. And it's a nice thick branch, but you can see that she's quite steady on her seat there. That's a beautiful shot. Thanks, Seb. Now I'm hoping she listen. She called the cub. Did you hear it? She might do it again. Now I have a feeling that one of the reasons why she's doing this and pulling it up into the tree and then also calling the cub now is it's getting darker, and so it's a safer place for them to have the kill up in the tree when it's dark, so that hyenas can't get to the kill and can't get to the cub. So it took her fur is a little out of place, as she went up the tree, and then also in her paws there might be a little bit of bark and things. So she's just cleaning them off. Now, my friend Ralph's up in the Masai Mara, and he has some playful cubs of his own, and since we haven't seen ours yet, let's head on up to him, and then we'll keep an eye out for all of you, and hopefully soon our little cub will pop up.
Hello everyone, and yes, well, we've survived the storm, and it rained a lot here in the Mara Triangle, and we left the Olololo Pride as they were looking very sheepish in the rain, but we've returned to them, and I think because it's so fresh now, these cubs are having an absolute ball. They're all chasing each other around the grass here, some of them taking little branches and using that as bait, and the rest all chasing them. It's really been wonderful here. You can see some of them all stalking, and there's all sorts happening. Next to us, in front of us, we almost don't know where to look. It's been wonderful sitting here with them. There's so much happening. The youngsters really full of energy. The adults not so much, but I think they're still enjoying the temperature and a little bit of the wetness, so running around, getting nice and warm, getting the heart rate up, because it is quite cold and windy and a little bit wet as well, so it's very comfortable, I would say, for the lions. A little bit cold for me, but as I say, there's lots of playtime going on now. We're up the side of the ridge of the Olololo escarpment, so these lions a little bit up the side. But you can see this playtime very important for them when they are adults, because this is when they learn all their skills to be able to tackle and catch prey. But what they're doing now is all down to play. There's really a lot of it, and full of energy, I must say. And so I've counted 8 sort of quite oldish cubs, and then the adults. But it seems like there's about 14 or 15 of them. I think that's the size of the Olololo Pride. Now, Rictus, thanks for your comment saying that you'd like to go on safari with me. Well, Rictus, I would welcome you anytime. You just let me know when you're on your way, and we'll try and get you into situations like this. It is absolutely amazing. Look at that. So, Rictus, until you make your way out here, we'll have to just try and keep bringing you wonderful pictures like this. It seems like they've got quite fat bellies, so I think they would have eaten shortly. Now, Ali, you want to know what is my estimate for how old these cubs are? Ali, I would say they're probably within the range of about 6 to 8 months. Because already from 6 months, lion cubs are pretty much independent, and they can also go hunting with the adults. So think about that. That is quite a quick turnaround from cub to be able to follow and hunt with them. And these older cubs, I would say, are in that range, between 6 and 8 months. They are more than capable of going with the adults. I wouldn't say that they would be able to survive on their own, because they would make too many mistakes and potentially be able to survive on little things like scrub hairs and so on, but most likely if they were left on their own now, they would probably die. But those younger ones, probably about 4 to 5 months, with the older ones about 6 to 8 months. They do grow really fast, but that's just a guesstimate, so I could be wrong, but that's what I know about lions. And I've seen a lot in my life, and that would make sense to me around that age. But we're having lots of fun with the youngsters as well. They're mixing in with the older ones, and look how they're also practicing their stalking. putting their head down and trying to get right up on their sibling without them knowing. Now, Daniel, you want to know at what age are they not called cubs anymore? Well, that's pretty much at that 6 to 8 months old. I'm calling them cubs, but they're pretty much heading into sub-adult territory there. And so then once they get up to about a year, then they are pretty much going into juvenile and adult. But it is so fascinating to watch them just stalking each other, jumping at each other. So everyone, from this very exciting little cub playground or juvenile sub-adult, whatever you want to call them, it's been absolutely fantastic. But let's head you on over to Taylor on the other side of the river, who's also watching some lions.
My goodness, have Craig and I had an afternoon. I need to do so much filling in. It's been hectic. Bouncing about in between gremlins, trying to figure out what's going on. Right, so now we've got a male lion and we've got a lioness. The lioness on the right is the one that we watched as she's sort of scent marked and she was contact calling, which then turned into a big roar. Now, what you didn't hear when you very, very quickly rushed down to South Africa with Tristan to watch those Wahlbergs eagles pluck that, I think it was a francolin, very cool. There were some other lions that responded not too far away, maybe about a kilometer or two away. So we decided, right, let's go have a look. So we raced on, found 3 male lions and 3 lionesses. As we got there, we didn't have much signal, unfortunately. The gremlins got us. They all started roaring. Can you believe it? And then eventually this male got up and he was running really quickly towards her. And it was quite an interesting meeting because he was hesitant. You could see every time he was putting his foot down, there wasn't much confidence. And that's normally something that a male lion doesn't lack, especially when he's striding. There goes someone else knowing that they have to head home, just like us. And he very quietly went over. The female paid no attention to him whatsoever, wasn't even looking in his direction. She knew she was there, though. And he got closer and closer, and then she dropped her shoulders and sort of ran at him, and he got a bit of a fright. And then they sniffed one another, and then she's been very flirty ever since. So quite cool. I don't know if these lions know each other. It was quite interesting to watch. And then, of course, there's more spectators. The Topi are very unhappy about this entire situation. I don't know if I got those comms properly. I just broke up. Did you get any comms? There's a big yawn.